Hi everyone, Krishant here. Today's badass quote from history: don't give up the ship.
Drunken sailor, what will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning? Way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises.
Before we go into the quote, let's take a look at the broader historical context of the situation. The quote was said in the War of 1812, a war caused in part by the British impressing American sailors into the Royal Navy, which in turn pressed James Madison to declare war. And no, it wasn't the impressing where American soldiers were like, oh wow, you have such a cool uniform. I mean, impressing as in forcing American sailors to join the Royal Navy to fight against Napoleon, who was trying to take over the world or something. Anyways, fast forward a year to June 1st, 1813, and you have the day that the events took place. Now, up until this point, the Americans have reigned victorious over every single naval battle they have fought with the British, severely crippling the morale of the Royal Navy. Phillips Broke, captain of the HMS Shannon, was determined to score the Royal Navy's first victory of the war, and staked out the Boston harbor for 56 days, trying to find other frigates to fight, until Captain James Lawrence sailed the USS Chesapeake to meet him. They engaged in a fierce cannon battle, which, thanks to Captain Broke's rigorous training, the gun crews of the Shannon reigned supreme. The Chesapeake and its officers were incapacitated, leaving the Chesapeake in disarray and unable to conduct any sort of proper counterattack. At one point, Lawrence is the only officer on deck, desperately trying to rally his men until he is mortally wounded by musket fire. Clinging on to a support beam, he was found by Lieutenant William Cox, who took him to the ship's cockpit. En route to the cockpit, Lawrence told Cox his last words: "Tell the men to fire faster. Don't give up the ship." The British, on the other hand, had a fully functioning officer corps, and effectively rallied a boarding party led by Captain Broke himself. While disorganized, the Americans managed to wound Captain Broke, and furiously fought to repel the invaders. Finally, between the losses inflicted and an overwhelming amount of British boarding the ship, the Americans finally surrendered. They gave up the ship. In 15 minutes, the casualty count for both sides was 71 dead and over 151 men wounded. Grim story, huh? Certainly doesn't seem very inspiring for a war cry, seeing how the Americans ended up giving up the ship. Well, it kind of is grim, but I promise, it does get better. Fast forward a few months to September 1813 to the Battle of Lake Erie, where an American fleet commanded by Oliver Hazard Perry faced off against an entire British armada. Perry, a personal friend of Lawrence's, hoisted a flag with Lawrence's words on Perry's flagship, the USS Lawrence. After a hard-fought and costly battle, Perry was victorious that day, capturing the entire armada and lionizing Lawrence's words in naval history. The meaning of the quote is to not surrender. Today, 300 years later, you might see tattoos, flags, mugs, and football jerseys sporting the unofficial naval motto, all a part of the testament to the tenacity and grit Americans pride themselves on. Lawrence's words have echoed through time, helping to be a part of the indomitable pride that Americans everywhere possess. Now, I want to make sure I'm telling you guys the right information, so let me know if I got anything wrong. Thanks for watching, and if you have any criticism, this is my first video, just go ahead and leave it below. Thanks.